Hi, welcome to another lesson for the ukulele strumming course. Today's lesson is on the up strum. So before we get started, what you want to go ahead and do is to grab your music sheet that says the up strum and go ahead and tune up your ukulele. So pause the tutorial at this time, grab your music sheet and tune up your ukulele, and we'll get started in about a second. Okay, so I take it you went and got your music and tuned up ukulele. First of all, the up strum, we consider this strum to be a very basic strum. However, it might be challenging or difficult to some folks. We're going to try to break it down so it's easier to understand, and we're probably going to take this a little bit slower than some of the other lessons because it is a little unusual to be strumming just particularly on the up strum. Normally the down strum is pretty simple and pretty easy to grasp and understand. Now, if you look at your music sheet, at the top line it says the up strum is located on the upbeat of the strum or the and of the beat. Okay, as you can see, there's the arrow and the word up, and it's indicating that on the word and, that's where you're going to strum. So keep in mind that all your numbers are your down strums, and all the ands are your up strums. And all your ands are the up strums. Now if you look below that, you see a bunch of notes over here, the F, the G, then you see 1 and 2 and, then you see the arrows over here indicating that that's where you strum. Now this is basically the same thing as this line right here, where you see the F, the G, the F, etc. Well, it's because normally when you see music, you're going to see this line. You're not really going to see all of this intricacy of how to strum. So you have to understand and get used to seeing that music. So we just put that there so you can see as you do the lesson that while you're learning the up strum, that you have an idea that how the music is going to look more when you see it on music sheet, or when you look on the internet, or maybe get a music book. You're not going to see, once again, all those little intricacies of doing up strums. Now, so let's get started. Keep in mind that oh, by the way, you need to do, you must do the right hand technique lessons along or in conjunction with your strumming course. So in other words, there's two sections. You get one section, you get the right hand technique and a bunch of tutorials in there, and then you got the strumming course with the strumming tutorials. You need to do both sections, okay? Because we're not covering the right hand technique in the strumming tutorials. That's something by itself. You have to learn that, you have to understand that, and you have to apply that to your strumming techniques and lessons. Okay, so we're going to leave that up to you. It's your responsibility to learn that and apply that, the techniques that you learn to the various strumming lessons. Okay, so when you're strumming, all the numbers are your down strum. Keep in mind you're not strumming on the down strum. So in other words, that would be a down strum. You're not strumming on the down strum. You're strumming on the up strum. That's why it's called the up strum. Okay, so it looks something like this. I'll just hold this open for a second. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're, in other words, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So once again, you're not strumming on the down strum, you're strumming on the up strum, and the clue for you to strum is the word and. That's how most people in music learn music terminology, the rhythms, etc. And then you have the arrows on your music sheet to help you, let you know that that's where you got to do the up strum. So let's do it together. Just hold a C chord, hold a basic C chord, and let's just practice that line that says 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's it. That's it, with the words up under each arrow. Okay, the words up under each arrow. That's what we just want to try it for a little bit. Ready? Here we go. I'll give a 4 count and we do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's try it again. Once again, don't strum on the down, only on the up. Here's a 4 count, same speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? At this time, we'd like you to pause the tutorial, try that a few times, especially if that doesn't feel very natural to you. If it feels unusual, if it feels different, you need to just stop right here. Just try it a few times to just get the feeling and let it become a little bit more comfortable before moving on. Okay, with that being said, we're going to move on down to the next exercise where you see 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and above that you see F, then next you see G, and next you see F, then G, then finally C, and then a repeat sign. Keep in mind that just below that you see F and 3 bars, G and 3 bars, F and 3 bars, G and 3 bars, etc. In other words, this is the exact same thing as all of this. Okay? But in music, you probably see more of that line than you will all the intricacies of the ands and the arrows. You probably won't see that. So we left that there so you could look at both and try to get accustomed to seeing actual music that follows that rhythm, but you're playing an up strum or an up rhythm. Okay? Now once again, you're strumming only on the and. So let's just play that first section. Let's just play F together. Okay, so it'd be 1, I'm holding an F chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so let's try that whole line. It's actually a line and a half, so it's this line and this line together that makes 1. And we're not going to do the repeat. We're just going to do that line all the way through. So it goes F, G, and then C. That's one line. Here we go. Here's a 4 count. No repeat. Just do it one time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now if that was a little fast, you need to slow it down. And keep in mind, when you're doing this practice without playing along with the tutorial, you need to keep your timing. So in other words, set a 4 count for yourself. In other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're tapping your foot and you're counting out loud. Once again, you got to tap your foot and you got to count out loud. Okay? And we talked about this in a previous tutorial. Timing and rhythm are so very important, and keep it constant. Okay? Don't fluctuate. Excuse me. Okay, let's try it one more time. This time we're going to do it with the repeat. Remember to tap your foot and count out loud. Same thing that we did, but with the repeat. F, G, C, repeat. Okay? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 F1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 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 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? Now we do recommend and we do highly suggest that you repeat it multiple times. So when you see the repeat sign, normally in music it just means repeat once. Okay? Play it one time and repeat it. That's what it normally means in music. However, we do suggest that you play it multiple times to really get into the practice. So in other words, the more that you practice it, the easier it'll become, the better you become at that particular strum and rhythm. Okay? Now, the next one down below that line in sort of the middle of the page, you have, if you look closely, you have B minor, A, G, A. Okay, so we're going to play that one time, and then we're going to talk about it for a second. Now keep in mind that make sure that you can play those chords before you do the exercise. If you can't play the chords smoothly, you need to pause now, stop now, pause the tutorial, and just work with the chords a little bit so that it's smooth when you make it, because you're already concentrating on your strumming hand. You don't want to be concentrating on your chord hand. Okay, here we go. Here's a 4 count, maybe just a little bit slower. Okay, once again, on the up strums, watch the arrows, watch where it says and. Here we go, starting with the B minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 okay, now this time we're going to do it with the repeat. Okay, so it's B minor, A, G, A, repeat. We'll try about the same speed, okay? The same speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 repeat 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so that was with the repeat. Once again, we do want to recommend that you repeat multiple times so it's comfortable. Okay, now if that was too fast, keep in mind you do want to play it slower. Okay, you want to play this smoothly and as perfectly as possible, and if that was too easy for you, naturally you can speed up. If you should start to speed up, you notice it kind of has a reggae sound. Now, we're not trying to emphasize the reggae strumming in this song, because we're talking about the up strums on the and. But by me speeding it up and kind of associating with the reggae sound, you get a rough idea of kind of like what I'm want to try to get at. However, we will be discussing reggae strums in a later lesson. But just to give you an idea, when you're playing the up strums at a faster pace, it kind of has a reggae feel. Okay, but we're going to discuss that later on, so you have the correct understanding and terminologies on how to actually play reggae music. However, it's most important of all in this lesson that you have your timing. Okay, you keep your timing even and constant. You're always tapping your foot. You're always counting out loud. Now, naturally, if you're performing, you're not going to count out loud, but please, when you're practicing, you always want to tap your foot, you always want to count out loud and get smooth and get just an even rhythm going. And you want to be comfortable on your up strums, okay? And once again, make sure that you're working on your right hand techniques, because like I said, I'm just using a basic strum in this example, this lesson, but there's more right hand techniques that you can apply towards these kind of strumming, okay, that we don't cover in the strumming lessons. Once again, make sure that you're comfortable. If you need to do the lesson again, please by all means do it again. And keep in mind, if it's too fast for you, slow down, keep your timing and rhythm smooth. If it's too easy for you, you can speed up a little bit. Okay, with that being said, when you're ready, we'll see you for the next lesson.